welcome to another video from Dr. Lock, looking at the Xhorse VVDI key tool. And my one here, I actually dropped it just very slightly, a little dent there, and now you can hear it. Sounds like something's a little bit loose, and then one of the coils is a little bit loose, so I thought I might as well just pull it apart. So let's have a look and see what's actually inside of it. You can pull these couple little grommets just out here with your fingernails. I'm going to take the battery off to start with. So it'll be interesting to see actually what is inside, how many coils, because it does have this one, this one, this one, so it'll be interesting. Using just like a hex, probably get away with an Allen key. A couple little screws down there. A couple up the top here. They're all the same. And a couple of little grommets here we'll need to dig out to get to the screw. Now, I wouldn't do this unless you've dropped your machine like I have, and you're probably going to void your warranty by pulling it apart. But I just want to tighten up the coil, because I think if it's floating around there, if the coil gets damaged or disconnected, then of course I'll be completely out of luck. I'll job somewhere and it just won't work. So 6 screws in total so far. I can't really see anything else holding it together, so I'm just going to use a little flat blade, pinch the case apart. Yep, looks like I can just work my way all the way around. Often they do have kind of a coil stuck to the back of it, so be pretty careful when separating it. Okay, we're getting somewhere. A little bit of resistance up here on the aerial side of things. This doesn't clip off. This does look like it does separate. Just got to push on. There's no more screws up here. Okay, I have to give it a little bit of wiggling force. Okay. So we're getting some sort of resistance up here. I can see just a little bit of plastic falling out. So I did damage something when I dropped it. So everything's good except for when we get to this aerial section. So hopefully they don't have any of those one-way sort of clips on them. A lot of resistance on this aerial. That's going to be tricky to get apart. There we go. So some sort of one-way clip in there. Okay, so we've got it apart, and just looking at it in this direction. So on the casing here, there was a couple of push-in one-way type clips, so I'll probably need to use a little bit of super glue around there, but that's not too bad. The rest of the clips still seem to be somewhat in order. This one here is a little bit chewed out, so that sits kind of like that. But once again, I can use a little bit of something all the way around the case. See, that looks pretty much had it. I'll just pull that off. So I did have 2 little bits of plastic floating around because I did drop it, but on closer inspection everything looks pretty good. I had that noise, hear that? But I'm checking my antenna and they seem to be connected quite well. Everything's connected. So we've got a couple of antennas here. We've got a coil up the top here. It's got 2 wires coming down. A little bit of glue holding it together. That seems to be good. That's this copper one. Then we have this red one coming over here. That's connected with a bit of blob there. No breaks in that. Then we have this one up here, which will be for the remotes and things like that. And then this big one around the top here. So everything looks in order. No problems at all. I really didn't need to pull it apart. It's just when I heard that noise, I thought that maybe one of the aerials had come amiss. But obviously no, nothing's come amiss. I'm looking at a few of the components here just out of interest. There's one here called scan disk, so I'm guessing that's some sort of memory. You got your main chip here and another main chip here, a little blue board here. Not exactly sure what they do. And then of course your battery terminal here. And that would probably be your screen along the top there. So that's what's inside one of these VVDI key tools. And I pulled it apart because I dropped it and I thought maybe I damaged a coil, but it looks fairly rugged. the coil inside there doesn't look like it, you know, you'd really need to smash this off to do it. Then again, if you broke one of these connections on one of these aerials here, the thing's not going to work, and you'd be pretty frustrated if you're out on a job and it's not working for you. So yeah, I broke a couple of little clips, but I mean, it'll go back together with a little bit of super glue, and it'll actually screw back together, push back together, and a couple of little clips I'll have to you know, stick together, but it's still going to work and still looks good. Okay, thanks for watching. Okay, so let's put it back together now. So we're carefully lining up all the bits and pieces. Goes back quite good. This is the RF part on top, so that would need to go back in there first. Tuck that back in. I'm not using any glue at the moment. I don't feel I'll need to. So although I did damage a couple of little clips, it looks like it'll squeeze together just fine. Okay, so we got 3 different size screws by the look of it. Oh no, 2 different size screws. Small ones are down the back. Let's pop them in. It's tight. Tight. Pop these ones in. Tight. Tight. So although I have separated the case, and I did mess up a couple of those little plastic clips, it doesn't really look like it's going to be any huge issue. The machine is still tied together, like it's, you know, looking around at the seam there, you can see a couple of little nibble marks. There's no flex, there's no real movement, so I'm happy with that. I don't need to put any glue or do anything like that. I might need to open it up again one day if something happens to it. But just looking over it, yes, I did drop it right there. There's a little tiny mark. Yeah, a little tiny mark just happened real easy. And once I had that sound, it kind of sounded like it was a loose coil, but there wasn't. So these 2 rubber feet stick out. These 2 go flush. Battery, bottom in first. So on 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, let go, and we're working again. And it still has that noise, but it's working. So we know that that noise is not a problem. Okay, thanks for watching.